Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 100 subscriber special. I don't really know what to think. I just kind of started uploading stuff just because I thought it'd be a little fun hobby, but now there are people who are genuinely excited to see what new videos go up. So I was trying to think of something fun and creative to do, and I love Sacred Stones. I did the Iron Man draft of it, streamed. So I thought instead of making like a tier list, this is going to be more like a very, very biased going over the units and just kind of just talking about how much I love them because I love the FE8 cast. There's very few characters that I just don't like in FE8, both players and like bosses and villains or whatever. I tend to really like a lot of them, as well as the music, which we're going to be listening to the whole time. I have the 5 different categories here. They might be a little self-explanatory, but we have this is going to be for units that I don't really care for. Not that I necessarily dislike them, just characters that I just don't really have very much feels for. Unit is, I like this, if I put a unit here, it's because I really like them because they're fun to train, because they're fun to use because they're so strong, or because they're fun due to some kind of utility that they provide. If I put a unit in character, it means that I mostly like them for either their character in the story, supports, design, something along those lines. Anything non-gameplay related. Up in both, it'll just be because I like them as a unit and because I like them as a character. And faves, I wanted to put a whole separate tier for the couple units that I feel like I would put way up here because I love a lot of so many of these characters, and I'm really afraid that the faves category is going to become too full. But yeah, this is completely unscripted, so we're going to just jump right into it. Erica, one of my favorite lords in the whole series, she's going straight up into faves. I love her design, I love her in the story. I also like her as a unit. I don't mind the whole weaker lord kind of thing. I actually kind of like it. So I don't mind that kind of she needs a little bit of babying. She kind of helps against the brigands early on, and Siglin is really cool. Also, I'm going to try not to spend too long talking about these because I don't want this to be like a 3-hour long analysis of the whole FE8 cast. This is just supposed to be like a quick little thing to go over. Seth, I really like him. I think I'm going to put him in both because I really like him in the story. I like him at the very beginning. I love his supports, especially with like Erica. And come on, he's Seth. Like, how can you not love using Seth? He's just so good. He just does everything you could ever want him to. Franz, I think I like him more for his character than anything. He has some really sweet supports. I remember I used to use him a whole lot, but in my most recent playthroughs, he's kind of just felt not as good to use. If you get him trained up, I find he's usually really good, but I like him more so for like his character thing, for his character. He has some really sweet supports with Amelia, some really nice ones with Natasha. I love his supports with Seth, so I think that's a good place for him. Gilliam, I love his design. Like I love like the spiky hair thing he's got going on. As a unit though, I'm not a big Armor Knight person, and I don't really remember too much about his character, so we're just gonna kind of put him down here. Again, I don't dislike him, but I just kind of don't feel very much towards him. Vanessa's gonna mostly go down in unit. She's, early game flyer. I will almost always be a fan of early game flyers. She has some cool supports. I know her ones with Inez are really fun because it's basically just her fangirling over him for most of them. But I think she's good down here in unit. I always make her a Falcon Knight because I think Falcon Knights are way cooler. Molder, we're gonna put you. I think you're also gonna go kind of down here. I know he's kind of like he's like the warper guy if you play efficiently, but I usually find I have other warpers because I don't tend to play super fast for it. He does have a cool mustache though, so he does get points for that. Ross, I'm definitely putting him in unit. Like, come on, he's a trainee unit. In the early game where it's actually easy enough to feed him kills, I love using Ross as a unit. Train him up into either a berserker or a hero, depending on what mood I'm in, or if I'm going to promote Calm. I'm going to be honest. Whatever class I send Ross into is dependent on whether or not I'm promoting Calm in this playthrough. But you train him up, 0 to hero, watch him kill everything. It's always a good time. Garcia is going up in both. I like him as a character. I like that he used to be a general in the Reneas army. I like the bond he has with the son and how he's tried to take care of him his whole life. And I like him as a unit. He's just in that middle ground of not super game breaking, but even if you train him up, he doesn't just demolish the game. But I find as a hero, his bulk and his high strength is really nice. He's just a unit I find myself training in every playthrough because I really like him. And anyone who knows me knows Naomi's going up in faves. This is one of my favorite units to train. She's so bad. Our GBA Archer in one of the most enemy phase heavy games ever. She's not good, but I love training her every time. I love her design. I like a lot of her supports, especially her ones with, I believe, Garcia, and I think she has some with Gilliam as well. But it's Naomi. She's my fave. Colm. I think I'm going to put him in character. As much fun as it is to do combat Colm, I like his supports. He's like a sneaky little guy. I remember his ones with Mulder are really funny, where Mulder tells him to like reflect on his actions, and Colm just reflects on like the meat he ate that day or something. So I like him a lot, and he's like best friends with Naomi, so by proxy, he gets to be pretty high up. Archer, we're gonna put him. I do like him as a unit a whole lot. Even some of his character, he has some really funny supports. Like his ones with Joshua, where he just repeatedly loses bets that he didn't sign up for, are pretty funny. And his relationship he has with Loot are pretty nice. Like their ending is really sweet together. Loot, I've never understood the Loot hype. I know she's like magic girl with big magic, but I don't know, I'm not a fan of her design. I'm not really a huge fan of like her character, the whole I am superior thing. And even as a unit, I've just never really been a huge fan of her. So I think we're gonna throw her down here. I'm just always kind of towards her. Natasha, I think she's going up in character. As a unit, she's just Diet Mulder. She's just worse Mulder as a unit. But first off, her design is absolutely gorgeous. Love the blonde hair. And I like that she really gives you a lot of insight in her supports with like Null on Grado's history and what happened with Leon with the Darkstone. And her supports with Seth and Frowns are also pretty cute. So we're going to put her right here. Joshua. I think we're going to put him in character. I like the, first off, the hat. His hat's really cool. The long red hair is really awesome. He gives you like a really cool first impression of like what Myrmidons are like, but I don't... I've used them a couple times as a unit. But it's been a long while since I've used them as like one of my main squads, so I don't really remember a whole lot about him. Going to Johanna and getting his boss combo with Kalek in Erica route, super good. Love that boss combo so much. Ephraim, obviously going up in faves. Demolishes everything. He's the war-hardened, super strong opposite of Erica, where she's the more frail, not super good at combat. He's the other side, the one that just tears through enemies everywhere. I know I said I like the whole weak lord thing, but maybe it's Ephraim's animations just look so cool. And its design's super awesome as well. Ford, I know there's like the whole Ford bad thing, and it really does feel pretty bad. Even his design, I'm like not a huge fan of. I know he has some nice supports with like Franz, he has some nice ones with Erica, but I've never really felt anything for him. Oh, this one's going to be a lot of recency bias, but I have suddenly, because of that draft Iron Man, I know my Kyle was like +3 everything blessed, but come on. Like, how can I not put him in unit for how great he was? He did not have the best ending in the world when it came to the run, but in the time we got to enjoy him, he hard carried a bunch, and I admire that a lot. So, Orson, I'm going to put him in both. I know you only get him for a single chapter, but I really like that from a unit standpoint, because him being a unit that you can potentially invest into, I think makes it less believable that he would turn on you. I believe it's hinted at the start of 5X that I think one of the bosses mentions that like they have ears in Ephraim's army. So you kind of have like an idea that someone's going to betray him. But the idea that you can pour levels and inventory into him makes it less likely that the player will catch on that he's going to just leave you and you have to deal with him not being around anymore. So that's why I really like him. Tana going up in faves. Love her design. One of my favorite Pegasus Knights in the whole series. Personality-wise, she's great. Super wonderful supports with Erica. Love her supports with Ephraim. Even with like her brother Enos, she has some nice supports. Altogether, she's just really fun. And again, make her she's a flyer, so gotta love Pegasus Knights. I always make her a Falcon Knight as well because, come on, Falcon Knights. I love training units, but for whatever reason, Amelia has just never worked for me. I am not an Amelia training fan. I don't really know why it's never clicked for me. Her design is pretty nice. As far as her supports go, I kind of tempted to put her down here. I remember she has some supports that I really like, but I don't really have very much emotional attachment. Like these units, I really like because I'm like invested in their story or whatever. Amelia's never really grabbed me that much. Inez, I'm gonna put him up in character. As a unit goes, like he's a sniper, which is cool. I know this is the person who put Naomi up here is now putting the pre-promoted sniper that you don't have to put investment into down here. But he's pretty cool. I like his design a lot. I like his talks with Joshua about how he needs to stop his gambling addiction. I remember he gets into like competitions with La Rochelle where they're trying to decide which country is superior. He also has a really sleek design. I love his hairstyle. I love the posing, and his palette's really cool. I also like how brash he is, just so tactless, and I absolutely love it. Garrick, we're gonna put in units. This is like the best mid-game carry, like feel-wise to me anyways. He joins midway through the game, and he tears through everything. He's super, super fun. And both of his promotion paths offer something different. You've got, do you want to make him a hero who can counter things at once you range? Do you want to make him a ranger with +1 move? And one of the very few units in the game who can even get access to bows. I believe there's 5 units who can get bow access. And it's Naomi, Inez, Garrick, Ross, and Garcia. I believe those are the only 5 bow users in the whole game. So he kind of gets some exclusive use out of bows. And he completely for free. He joins for free, has a hero crest on him. You can just go crazy with him. I don't remember a lot of like his supports and what he's like as like a what is it called, a mercenary commander. So I think this is a good place for him. Tethys is mostly going in units. Once again, I don't remember a whole lot of her story. I know that she has some pretty funny supports with like Marissa, but yeah, I think that's a good place for her. She's a dancer. She dances. It's always fun. Ooh. So I like Marissa as a character a whole lot. I love her design a whole bunch. And I just love how detached she is from everything. As a unit, she is so weak. She's basically a trainee unit that doesn't have to be level to 10 to like a base class. I find her easier to train than some other trainee units. Like I actually find her easier to train than Amelia, despite joining like several maps later in Ephraim route. So I think we're gonna roll like this. She's cool. I like a lot of her supports where she tries her best to be social in some circumstances. Like her supports with Tana are really funny because Tana is one of the most social people out there, and then you have Marissa who doesn't really like being social to other people. Now, anyone who's going to be watching anything about talking about how much they like Sacred Stone's characters knows La Rochelle's going at the top. She joins midway through the game, like on par or worse than what Natasha was at base. And I don't care. I will use her every time I play this game. I will train her every time I play this game. I love her design, personality, supports. As a unit, she's absolute garbage. One of the worst ones in the game. I think it's safe to say. I don't care. I'm still going to use her. Absolutely adore her. Dozla. I've used him a couple times, but as a unit, he's just kind of like, bleh, whatever. As a character, he's a really fun guy. He's one of the happiest guys alive. Like nothing will ever make this guy not smile unless La Rochelle's not smiling. Then he's not going to be smiling because he's going to be smashing whatever's causing her to not smile. But in character, he has really goofy supports with Ewan where they talk about inventing like instant messaging or like airplanes, basically. So I gotta put him there. He's a really fun guy. Saleh, I think he goes in unit. I have not played Erica route nearly as much as Ephraim route, so as far as Saleh's inclusion in the story, I'm not as keen on. So I think we're gonna put him right here, because as a unit, I love pre-promoted sages. Just having magic and staff access with no investment, always super cool. Ewan is mostly going in units. He's a really fun character, sure, but I'm more interested in just training him up into all kinds of different classes and doing anything but making him a summoner, because that's what, you know, he's somewhat exclusive to. I like making him a mage knight a whole lot, just because it also looks cooler. Like, I will be the one who promotes people just based on whatever class looks cooler, so I will be the one who makes him a sage or a mage knight, just because I like the way it looks. Training him I find is not too hard, way easier than Amelia. Because of accurate 2 range, you can just more easily get to EXP without having to worry about missing or eating counters. So I think he's going to go here. I enjoy training him. Cormag. Ooh. I think he's going to go up in both. Really cool unit, other than the fact that I find he has a lot of accuracy issues at base. But besides that, really cool unit. I like him in the story as well. His boss combo with Valter in Erica route goes so ridiculously hard, and I absolutely love it. You have to get that conversation every time you play Erica route, or else you should be forced to like restart your save file. Oh, one more thing on Cormag. I like that he pretty much only has solo endings, but I think his only paired ending is with Tana, where the ending is basically the same, except it says Tana just found him one day and like enlisted him in the Freylian army, and that's just where he stayed forever. Renak. I think I like him more as a character. He just kind of shows up to be the second thief for if you didn't train Calm, and so you don't have to train Calm, and he just opens stuff, so that's not really a whole lot. In character, I actually kind of like him. He seems like a greedy guy just because he wants to get paid, but the more you think about it, he just wants his wage for bothering to escort a princess around, but he's not getting paid. You gotta kind of feel bad for the guy. So I think he's going to go here. I also like some of his supports, especially his La Rochelle ones. Dusel. Ooh, I think you're mostly going to go here as a unit. He just does everything. He's like, he joins midway or kind of early in Ephraim route, and he just doesn't die and kills everything. Like, what more could you ask for? He just destroys everything he would look at or anything that looks at him. Okay. We're putting Null up here. This might be biased because of the shenanigans in the Iron Man, but I had so much fun training this guy up to be a not summoner. I'm sure I'll try to do it again one day, just for even more funds, because someone suggested or asked why Null didn't have Latona, so I have to fix that one day. So I'm sure I'll be using this guy again. I love what he tells about Leon's past. In some supports, he talks about Grado's history and what led to Leon delving into the Darkstone. Myr, faves. Probably my favorite Manakete in the series. I like that she joins in the castle map where it's not too hard to feed her kills. You can just go create. You have plenty of Dragonstone uses. Don't really feel bad about Dragonstone uses on her. You get 50, and I don't think, as long as you're careful, you'll have plenty. But she gets lots of level ups, she gets lots of stats on level ups. Then you field her in Darkling Woods and she just destroys everything. Assuming you have enough stone uses for it. She just destroys everything. So, and I love her design. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna go with. And Cyrene, I like Flyers a lot. I don't have a whole lot to say about Cyrene. I think she's probably the character I know the least about, and I have like no attachment to her whatsoever. So I think that's a good place for her. Yeah, I think. Do I want to make any last minute adjustments now that they're kind of all next to each other? No, actually, I am thinking about moving Garcia up here. He is one of my favorite units, actually. Nah, screw it, we're doing it. Garcia, you get to go up in faves. You're actually one of my favorite units in this game, so you're gonna get to go up there. And yeah, I think that's about everything. So I won't drag the ending out too long. Once again, thanks for everyone who decided to subscribe and keep watching. It makes me smile knowing that there's people out there who get enjoyment out of this hobby that I decided to pick up. Keep being awesome, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!